Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I am going to show you the Raspberry Pi version 4 Cana Kit. Now, this is going to be part 1 of a multiple part series on this particular Raspberry Pi version. So to start off is I have the Raspberry Pi 2. I have two Raspberry Pi 2s and a Raspberry Pi 1. And I've been wanting to get the 4 for a while, so I finally got it. Now, I do have a little extras, and I'll show those extras off first. So here's what I have. This is a third-party Raspberry Pi case. And this is a touchscreen. This will not come with the Cana Kit. This Cana Kit only comes with the factory Raspberry Pi case and parts needed to do it. This is also third party, and I bought this. The reason I bought this is this case. The reason I bought this and the case itself, the case is made to hold the touchscreen like this. This is the factory fan. This does come with the Cana Kit, and it says Cana Kit right on. This does come with the Cana Kit. This obviously you can tell that it says Cana Kit, so you know that's an OEM fan. With the other case, I do have a bigger fan as well, but I'm just showing the OEM stuff for right now. This is the instruction booklet. This is the head pin layout. This document right here, and I'm not sure if you can see it or not, this is the head pins of the Raspberry Pi version 4 itself. You have instructions on if something doesn't work right. You have instruction booklet. You have an SD card. You have to remember that the Raspberry Pis run off an SD card. These are heat sinks that go on the Raspberry Pi board. This right here is the power supply to it. It's a lot like a laptop. And I'm going to open that up so you can see. This is the power supply to the Raspberry Pi. Now, the cool thing about this is if you have other power supplies that are the same voltage and wattage and the same end, you can use them as well. Comes with an HDMI cable because it's HDMI out. Now, this is one thing I've been wanting to get. This is a power on off switch for the Raspberry Pi. So basically what happens is this thing goes into the motherboard of the Raspberry Pi. The power from here goes into here like this, right? So now this becomes the power switch. So basically it's an inline switch. Now this is for the SD card. This is an SD card reader. This isn't just for the Raspberry Pi, but it's nice to have, and it came with the Cana Kit. This is the third-party fan that came with the third-party case. This is the Pi itself. So I'm going to open it up. And this is what it looks like. Now, the heat sinks go here, here, and here. This is a CPU. So you do need heat sinks just like a regular standard desktop PC and laptop. Alright, so this is the factory Raspberry Pi case. This is the factory case. I will not be using this case in this case, ha ha ha, pun intended. But I can use it for other Raspberry Pis as well. These are standoff. There's a standoff and more heat sinks that came available. Alright, to start off here, what I am going to do is I am going to open up the Raspberry Pi case here. There we go. Right, so it looks just like this. You take the Raspberry Pi, make sure it's in the right direction, obviously, otherwise you're going to run into issues. That's very, very interesting. This case is basically backwards. But what's cool is I can open it from both sides, so I could do some trick things to it. So basically what you want to do is open this up. Put the Raspberry Pi in there just like this. But be very careful so you don't drop your board. There we go. And very carefully put the case back on. There you go. So the Pi is already installed into the case. So what I got to do is I got to figure out if I use the factory heat sinks, which should be okay, or I use the third-party ones, which are these right here. But I'll wait for that because I'm just assembling the basics of the Raspberry Pi right now. So the second thing I want to do is I'm going to install this. There we go. So that's already installed. Alright, so for the touchscreen here, just to give you an overview. It goes like that, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just assembling the basics of it. All right, so the heat sinks. There are 3 heat sinks, as you can see. Now, if you look here and you look here, it's self-explanatory on where they go. So what I'm going to do is pull the adhesive off. This is going to take a little bit. All right, there we go. So it uses almost like sticky glue to do it. So this is the CPU heatsink. You'll want to make sure it's totally on the CPU, just like the a regular desktop that you're building. Just bear with me here. This one goes on a little one. Keep them all uniform. There we go. Then this one goes right here. Go. And now this one goes right there. Alright, so all the heat sinks are in. Now you want to put your SD card in. This is an anti-static bag. These, if you go buy a computer motherboard, a desktop motherboard, you will get this as well. This is just to protect the equipment. And sometimes they can be very difficult to open, as you can see. It's just a regular SD card. You could use one that you have lying around if you like. Now, this is a Samsung card. So this is a Korean SD card because Samsung is a Korean company. So if we go here, this is the SD card slot, so I got to figure out which way it goes. There we go. Just goes in there just like that. Comes out just like that. That's the wrong way to do it. I'm just seeing. There we go. Now, if for some reason you missed the slot and it goes down under, you could just pull the case apart and retrieve the card. So there we go. So we're pretty much ready to boot the Pi up in this case, but I'm not going to do that in this video. I'm just still putting it together for the meantime. Oh, and this is a stylus for the touchscreen. So what you want to do is figure out what parts you don't need right now and put these back in a box where you're storing your stuff. Just like that. So before I end the first part of the Raspberry Pi 4 Cana Kit series, this is the basic of the Raspberry Pi, putting it together. What you do, you put this on the top of the case, just like that, and you're ready to go. In a basic sense, this computer is ready to go. Now, I need to download an operating system for it, and I have to do other things in this case, but we got somewhere in this video. So anyway, with that said, that is it for this video. Please comment, like, subscribe, and click that bell for more notifications.